Hi and welcome to our Monday Live, our wintry Monday Live with the Christmas jumper and the tinsel in the background. There's times, I see there's someone at the door, we might get a wing. There's times when sometimes things get on top of you. And it was a bit like that this weekend, but then you get up in the morning, you open the door and you've got to take your son, walk with your son and your wife to school. And what a morning it was today. Alfie's excitement. It was a beautiful, crisp morning with snow on the ground. And we just had the most beautiful walk to school. It really was. And as you know, youngsters tend to love it. Well, so did me and Helen as well. So we were throwing snowballs and doing all sorts, and we did have a wonderful morning. So let's look forward to a wonderful week. And it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. There you go. Anyway, so it's 5 now, of course. So we've had a lovely weekend, etc. We had the nativity and all sorts, and got to get back to reality now. Back to doing a bit of bridge. High cards we're talking on the site. Basically looking to make the most of our cards as declarer. And just a reminder for some of you, just reminding yourself to concentrate on making the most. For others, it's about instilling the fundamentals of declarer play, and if you can get it, it makes a wonderful difference. And what else is there? I'm just trying to look. I'm just looking. The Thursday teams. Teams is on Thursday this week. Sorry, I haven't changed that on the site yet, but it is on Thursday. Of course, that was just that we didn't want to clash with a semi-final match because, of course, we'll all want to watch France in the semi-final. However, England won the cricket today, so we can't be too grumpy. So Thursday for the teams, and then the last teams of the year is the prize teams the week after back on Wednesday, and that's our last live before the festive period. So that's great. What else is there? We are talking protective bidding on Fridays. Protective bidding on Fridays. And what does that mean? When the biddings dies out at a low level, we don't like it. So that we try to spice things up a little. And we're looking at when we're short, etc, etc. Just a quick reminder though, those of you non-members, the teams is on special offer. It is on Thursday, but it is on special offer, so you get that half price. So just £3 to watch me have fun and drink wine. I mean, what more could you want to do? And of course, there's lots going on over the Christmas and New Year period. We have our various events. I am told, reliably told, that there are still some singles available for Christmas and Twixmas. There are just a waiting list for New Year, but there are still. So bear that in mind. And I think there's room at Twixmas in both. Going into January, if you fancy that, we've got a couple of events. Reboot your ACL, a great way to start the year. Really great way. It's hard work, but a great way. And then we've got gourmet events in Devon. One at the end of January and one, I think, in the end of June. So do look up those. Remember, all of those things are on the website. What else are we talking? We are going to have our bidding quiz at the end. We're also going to have a blind auction. The reason we're having a blind auction is because I came across this auction when someone sent me an email. And I thought, you know, can I think of a hand that actually fits that? I'm not sure their bidding would necessarily fit the hands that I'm suggesting it could be. But let me show you that auction that came up. And then I asked for some ideas for what we could do. This is what I call the cliffhanger on Friday evening, Friday morning, and then I bring it over till Monday. And I think a suggestion was made about suit combinations, so we might bring that in. I'll give you a suit combination, and then you have to decide how you play it. However, let's look at this blind auction. This is East-West bidding. West is the opener. West opens 1 no trump. It goes 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 2 spades, 3 diamonds. And you've got to try. Now, it is going to carry on, and we'll look at how it carries on afterwards, but you've got to decide what west particularly, but both east and west. What are the west and east hands? Is there any possible hand? And if not, well, you just sigh and decide what to bid. But when west bids this way, and I think west has bid in a relatively strange way here, it's east's job to try and work out what west could possibly have. And I think there is a genuine hand that west could have for bidding this way. Whether I'd work it out at the table as east is another matter. But there you go. We'll look at that after our little seminar on high cards. So let's go for that. Let's go to the seminar, and then we'll revisit that hand. Okay, but first of all, I've got to move to the next hand. There we go. Okay. So we're in high cards, and I've got to move to the PowerPoint, got to press the right buttons. So, what we said, the last slide on my big seminar is, my last hand on my big seminar is this: handle your high cards with care. The more you get out of them, the better you're going to do, obviously. Generally, you need 4 high cards to lead high, and I want you to keep that in your mind. 4 high cards, so do not waste them. If you've got 4, you could waste 1 and you've still got 3 left, and 3 left will often win the suit, as it were. So 4, it's a lot. We're going to see the odd exception. There's not that many though, and of course lots of planning required. Not today as it happens, but generally plan, look at the suits that need to be led for one particular hand. Because if I want you to lead up to honours, so lead from a low card to an honour, often you'll need to be in one hand rather than the other. Okay, so here we go. So with 3 cards, we try to lead low. Okay, now with ace, jack and 10, there are 3 high cards here. So in fact, I would include the 9. So if I had the 9 as well here, I would not mind leading high. Okay, so with jack, 10, 9 and the ace, so it's generally 4 out of the top 6. Quite often, if you've got at least 4, you've got enough to waste 1 because the others. But here we've only got 3. I know you've got the 8 as well, but that's by the by. So the normal way to play this, the key play is not leading the jack. Okay, so when we take the finesse, and we're going to take the finesse, we play small to the 10. It doesn't make a huge difference, but when you've got 8 cards, what you're hoping is that North has a doubleton honour. Because if you think that North has a doubleton honour, there's not much he can do. If you lead the jack, he can kill it, and he's a very happy chappy. But if you lead small, if he plays high, his honour gets killed by the ace. If he plays low, his honour will be singleton. So let's do it. So he plays small to the 10, which loses, as expected. What we are now hoping is that the king, the missing honour, might be bare. Of course it is, because I'm putting the hand out. So these are the cards left. So now when you play the ace, it drops the king, and your jack has not been wasted. So that is the layout there. Okay, so it's a classic layout. You see it quite a lot when you've got, sometimes with 2 high cards, you get the same thing, queen to 4 opposite king to 4, and you end up hoping there's an ace doubleton somewhere. Here, most of the time you're probably going to lose 2 tricks in the suit, but when North has the king queen, okay, or there's a doubleton honour, then you're happy. Remember, by leading small towards the ace 10, you're also helping yourself when there's the king queen there as well. Of course, there's also the chance of a singleton honour there. So imagine North had a singleton honour, king or queen, you can win it and then lead small towards your 8 on the next round. Okay. Okay. So exceptions. I thought that was going to be run through there. So it was going to say 3 cards to try to lead low. Exceptions, very short or very long. Well, what do I mean by that? Okay, because Alan's asked, what are the odds of a doubleton honour? Well, when you've got length, so look at the club suit now, I've taken a few of your cards away. When you've got 4 cards in both, the odds are not so bad. There is a chance. Okay, remember, you haven't really got any other chance, so it's not as if it matters how low it is. It's not a huge chance because you're hoping for the two holding to be in the north hand, etc, etc. But of course they're generally going to break 3-2, and half the time those 2 are going to be in the north hand. The problem is the shorter you're holding, the less likely you're going to have a doubleton. If you've only got 6 clubs between you here, okay, if you've only got 6 clubs between you, then the chances of there being a doubleton is very low. Now, mathematically, the best play is still to play small to the jack and hope that the king or queen is doubleton in the north hand. It's not going to happen very often. Take another club away and it's definitely not going to, okay? So for me, when I've only got 6 cards like this, quite often I will choose the more psychological play. What on earth do I mean psychological play? Players are not good at covering 10s with kings. Okay? Okay, so when I lead, this is someone saying it's best not to play the club suit at all. That's absolutely right, but we're talking about the end of a hand. Maybe you've made 9 tricks, you're looking for an over trick, something like that. Okay, so it's not something that we would attack absolutely early on. But the thing is, if you lead the 10 of clubs here, a lot of the time the north player won't cover it, particularly, of course, if the ace jack are in your hand. Okay, even if they're in dummy. The player with the king won't always like doing it because they'll think, well, partner, psychologically, you think, well, partner can win his queen. And they're quite right. You lead the 10 and partner can win his queen, but your king will have failed to kill an honour. Because remember, if the 10 runs around to the queen, another one's led to the ace jack, there's nothing you can do. Okay? All right, so here, and obviously someone's saying if you've got the 9 as well, 10-9, if you've got 10-9, you've got 4 high cards. So remember, if you've got ace jack 10-9, you've got enough to lead and you're doing a genuine finesse. Here, if you lead the 10 and it gets covered, you're not a happy chappy. Because it goes 10 queen ace or 10 king ace, and the likelihood is your jack will be swallowed up. But you haven't got much chance of making more than 1 trick in clubs here. The genuine chance is, well, either hoping for a 9 doubleton in the south hand, or well, no, not on a 9 in the south hand, or more likely is queen doubleton or king doubleton in the north hand, or of course king queen. Okay, so the hearts, can you see a big difference here? You've got 9. Once you go beyond 9 cards, particularly 9 or 10, there is the chance that cards drop. So I've said you only need 3 high cards, but the longer you are, of course, there's the chance that you're, for example, in hearts, if you get the perfect layout, north has king doubleton, south has a small doubleton, you can make all 6 heart tricks. You lead the queen and finesse, okay? And that's because all of the 10s and 9s fall. So it goes queen, king, ace, and the 10 and 9 fall. I'll show you. Let's have a look at the clubs first. So let's look at the club holding here. You should lose 2 club tricks. If you play the suit, it's a classic frozen suit, of course. Quite right. As Brian was saying, you'd love it. You would love it if your opponents led clubs here. But let's assume you got to the end of a hand and you've got to play them yourself. You're looking for the odd over trick or something like that. You'd also have a counter the hand. If you know that north can't have a doubleton, leading the 10 makes a lot of sense. It's amazing how often north won't cover. Okay, we find it easy. I always say to people, if you've got the Queen Jack 10 of a suit, if you want it to be covered, play the Queen. If you don't, play the 10. It sounds crazy, but if you play the Queen, someone with the King will kill it straight away. It's, we know that. But if you play the 10, the person with the King, if they can't see your Queen and Jack, will think, oh, I'm not sure I should cover that. Can you see the idea? So a lot of the time, and you try it and compare, but 10s are much less easy. And when I did this, I've done this a number of times on the site, where I show you a 10 lead, and a lot of people are loath to cover it with the King. Okay, particularly as you haven't got particularly good holding in clubs, you're thinking, well, what's the point? Okay, so and if that 10 of clubs is not covered, the King cannot do its job. Can you see that the 10 of clubs will run and be killed by the Queen? So in a way, North is feeling happy. But look at the second round of the suit. You can't kill anything. Declara leads another club, let's say the 6 of clubs. Now it's too late for you to cover. There's nothing to kill. So the 6 of clubs, if you put the King up, the Ace wins. If you don't, the Jack wins. So if you don't kill the 10 with the King, Declara makes 2 tricks. So very tricky, but when you're short, sometimes you can risk leading a high card, to try and scrape it through. But it's rare. It's rare. And bear in mind that mathematically, okay, you shouldn't be doing it, because if you play the 10 and North's got an honour, they'll kill it, and that's the end of that. Can you see what I mean? So the best play in theory is small to the Jack. Small, Jack. Queen wins. You're hoping that the King will fall on the next round. Okay, or that you pick up the 9 doubleton, as I say. Okay, so you're hoping to pick up some form of doubleton on the next round. But obviously, if you've only got 6 cards in the suit, a doubleton in the right place is much rarer. It's much rarer to have a doubleton, 5-2 rather than 4-3, but it's also got to be in the right place. So you're talking about a much, much smaller chance. Whereas running the 10 here, I think, is going to give you a bigger chance, particularly, as I say, if your Ace and Jack are disguised. So if you're leading from dummy the 10, quite often, the person with the King will think, well, I'll just let that run and see what happens. And suddenly, you Ace Jack have been given power. Okay, this heart holding, when you're very long, a similar situation, a different situation now, where I've only got 3 high cards, so my first thought is to lead low. But once you've got 9 or more, so up 9 or 10, now suddenly 3 high cards is quite a lot. Because if you imagine the suit can break 2-2, well, you only need 2 high cards to clear it. Okay, so you don't mind sacrificing one of your high cards because the other 2 can do the clearing. Now, of course, the suit might break 3-1, but the point is that you're giving yourself a chance to make the whole suit if it breaks 2-2. Okay, so once you go 9 or more, I give you permission to think about leading high. It's not always going to be right, but clearly if you lead low here, you're going to allow them to make a king. So if you lead low to the Ace and then back, they make the king. If you lead towards the Queen Jack, which would be the normal play. So if I took the 8 of hearts away here, the best play is leading small towards the Queen Jack. So if you had just 8 cards and put the 8 in the opponent's, you'd lead small to the Queen Jack just in case you've got King to 4 in the south hand. Okay, can you see that? So if you've only got 3 high cards, and most of the time we're leading low, the exceptions are very short or very long. Okay, let's look at our hand. Let's put that into perspective. Let's put you in 3 no trumps, and let's have the Queen of Spades lead. Let's see if you can make a plan. Obviously a few things to think about here. And don't forget, your plan isn't just to make 9 tricks, I'm afraid. Okay, so hopefully you all come up with a number. Really important that to start with 6 TT, as Ruben said there, 6 top tricks. I always try to start with that. Okay, so let's put that up. Hopefully I've got the same 6 top tricks. Yeah, okay. So after that, I'm assuming we're going to be looking at the minor suits. Okay, and if we're lucky enough in clubs to find that they break okay, and we don't lose a trick in it, we can then think about diamonds, because we'll still have a stopper left. But we've got to think about clubs first. Okay. And these combinations, funnily enough, someone asking about combinations for you are quite tricky. In fact, this is a classic combination which could revolve around something called the principle of restricted choice. Because Tim can't make up his mind. He's trying to have the best of both worlds, but I think leading the Queen of Clubs is the correct play here, because it gives you the best of both worlds. Okay, if they break 2-2, it doesn't matter what you do, but in theory the Queen of Clubs will pick up 3-1 breaks where South has the 10 or 9 singleton. Subtle, but if you lead the Queen, it will go King Ace and the 9 will fall perhaps. You can then cross back and lead another club and run it. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so that, you know, playing for the singleton 9 or the singleton 10 to be singleton rather than the 10-9 doubleton. Okay, so that's always tricky. We won't go deeply into the principle of restricted choice here. Okay, if the clubs work. Okay, so let's assume clubs work and you pick up the clubs. What would you do now? So let's say you've made 5 club tricks. What's your plan? Well, I'm not saying you'll have taken the 5 club tricks. What would you do next? Yeah, and that's the key of the hand, is small. I think we should be playing small to the Jack of Diamonds. Okay, and that's the crucial thing, because we're remembering we've got the 3 high cards and we should just be playing them. Okay, so we're thinking about clubs and diamonds. I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us over to Q+, if that's okay. So the question is, would you duck the first spade? I would feel here that you've got another weak suit, which is actually weaker than your spades here. So Mohammed, the hearts, we were leading the Queen of Hearts. Okay, so with a 9 card suit, we chose to lead the Queen of Hearts, which gave us the chance of making all of the hearts. Apologies for that if you didn't grasp that. I could have had it playing for. So here we are. Don't forget, you can change the spec of your screen if you need to, if it's not clear. So someone asking if we would duck. Playing teams, you'd be playing safe. You might think about it, but remember, a heart switch isn't going to be massively desirable for you anyway. So quite often when you've got 6 spades between you, there's a good chance that the spades might break 4-3, so you're not so worried. Notice if they break 5-2, well then, I mean, you could think about, yeah, if you're playing safe, you'd probably duck. Playing pairs, you might want to be making more tricks. Okay. So I think I would probably win it. Yeah, because I don't fancy the heart switch here. Okay, so we're going to win. And we're going to lead the Queen of Clubs. So again, you lead smaller club. Of course, that works when you've got a King Singleton in the north hand. You're leading small to the Jack if you were going to lead small. It works for the Singleton King. The idea is when you lead if you lead a small club to the Jack and the 9 or 10 drops for South, you're not going to be so happy, because you will be thinking that North is left with the King 10, and then you have to lose a trick in the suit. Okay, so in theory you're hoping that leading the Queen of Clubs is going to work when you have a 10 or 9 singleton, whereas leading a small one works when you've got a singleton King in the North hand. Okay, the Queen of Clubs also works if North has King 10 9 to 4. Okay, because it will allow you to lose just one trick in the suit. Okay, because you will be able to pick up most of the suits. So, you know, if North has all 4 clubs, the Queen of Clubs works. Obviously a much less likely holding. Okay, so I'm going to try the Queen of Clubs. Okay, and the 2's followed, so there's the 10 and 9 left, so there's no finessing here. You're just hoping that the suit breaks. For ease, I'm going to unblock the 7. So do look at that there. If I don't unblock the 7, I would need to cross over in another suit. So for ease, I'm going to make sure that I can get back to the 6 5 4 there. Okay, at this point, I think I would maybe lead a diamond now. Now the key is, the reason we're leading a diamond to the Jack is if I lead a diamond, if I lead the Jack of diamonds, I make 2 tricks in the suit. Whoever has the King, and that's important. If I lead the Jack and North plays the King, I make the Ace and Queen, but the Jack has died. Thing is, if I lead small towards the Jack, if South has the King, he's under pressure. If he plays the King, I make 3 diamonds, because the King is played before the Jack, isn't it? Can you see that? If he doesn't play the King, I think I might have chances at the end of this hand. I might be able to end play him, okay, or I might be able to drop his King of diamonds. Does that make sense? So I'm going to apply a diamond now. You could play your clubs off first and see what happens, because I think you've just about got the entries there. Maybe that's better. I don't mind. So we try a diamond to the Jack. It works. Okay, I now play the clubs out. Okay, so you'll get lots of discards here. Okay, we've got a diamond discard there. And now you've got to decide what to do. As I say, possibly you could have done them before. I would be tempted to play South 4th, having started with 4 diamonds and having discarded one here. So I might play the Ace of diamonds and a small diamond. Okay, that's what I'm going to be tempted to play. So let's try that. So I'm playing the Ace of diamonds, and it's looking good now that North's followed with the 9. Okay, because North played the 8, then the 9 of diamonds. So remember, I've got stoppers in the other suit. It's not a worry. If I play a small diamond here, I can only lose 2 diamonds. There's only 2 diamonds left. Okay, so it's not a problem. So I will play a small diamond. And he has indeed bared his King. Okay, he didn't have to do that. And maybe, I tell you what, we'll just have a quick look open up the hands so you can see them here. So the King of diamonds has won there. But you're going to make the Queen of diamonds as your greedy over trick. Okay, so we have ended up making 12 tricks there rather than just 10 or 11. Okay, and that small to the Jack is a classic play. Okay, let's just go back. I'll just see how they do. So just so you can see what was going on. So we led a small one. I think South's done the right thing by playing King. I think let's just see how South does if we play the clubs out, because it's not easy. Let's say we try playing the clubs out first. Notice that we definitely, if we're going to do that, we definitely wanted to have unblocked the clubs. Okay. So he's thrown a diamond anyway, so you know, and I don't know, maybe it's more difficult for him if we play the clubs out early. We've got the entries. So now we've had 2 diamond discards actually now, which makes us feel even better. So we play a small diamond. He plays small. Okay, and now I'd be pretty confident to play a diamond to the Ace. And we now know there's only one diamond left. Well, you can see. So again, we would establish the diamond there. Okay, so the key is playing small to the jack. I think perhaps playing the clubs off early, because once you've played small to the jack and it's made, South should know. Okay, and again, you've made 12 tricks there. So I'm just going to get to the end of the hand there. Just accept. I think maybe if you play the small diamond towards the jack, when that jack holds, South knows that East, knows in inverted commas that East has ace queen, because why hasn't his partner beaten the jack? So perhaps South should keep all the diamonds. However, he would need to unblock his queen of hearts to avoid getting end played. So that's a bit tricky at the end. But if he does manage to hold on to all of his diamonds, what we might try and do is play the king of hearts, the ace of hearts, the king of spades, and then finally a heart to South's queen, and leave him on lead to give him the last two trick with diamonds. So the power of that diamond to the jack, it gives us all sorts of chances, okay, of making an extra trick. Okay, so again, most of the time when you've got 3 high cards, I want you to be leading. I want you to be leading to the. I want you to be leading to. Sorry. To high cards. Do not waste high cards. Keep doing it. I know some of you. I mean, there's a big difference between those card players. And it's one of the massive things in bridge now, that a lot of people starting to play bridge now do not know how to play cards. They haven't played cards. Whereas those of us who've played cards throughout our childhood, let alone our young adulthood and adulthood, massive difference. Okay, I'm not a linguist. I struggle with languages. I'm struggling with Italian. I'm still doing it. I'm still on my streak, as is my wife, on Duolingo. But it's not natural to either of us, and it's hard. So if you are not a natural card player, it is really, really hard. And sometimes your opponents or your partners will not sympathize with you, because they're just thinking, but how could you not have done that? Okay, how do you know that you don't lead low to high cards? It is not a natural thing. As we all know, when we were beginners, if you can remember that far back, all you wanted to do was play aces, because they win tricks. Of course, now, hopefully, as a defender, you want your aces to kill other high cards. Of course, the declarer is doing the opposite. You are desperately avoiding your high cards being killed. Okay, we're going to come back to the blind hand. Quick note on the overseas. I think at the moment we're talking about Iceland. 13th of September there. Alfie went there before COVID, so I don't think he really knows he's been there. And the other thing on the agenda there, Tunisia. Tunisia at the end of March, beginning of April, which is a favourite place that I've been to with both B&B Holidays and, of course, Mr. Bridge. And Gowie, I think, is on that one. Gowie running that one. And we're trying to branch out. There will be more holidays. There'll be more holidays coming up on the site as well for the UK. Okay, they'll be being launched over the next few days to do look at those. Most of mine are up, but there'll be lots of different places that you can go. Still the same old. But we're bringing back Blunsdon. So we've got a Blunsdon, I think, at the beginning of the year, in the sort of first half of the year, and then the Blunsdon in the second half of the year. So those of you who like Blunsdon, that's near Swindon. That is going to be coming back, and hopefully that will work well for us. But do look out for various things. I'm also going to use a lady to find me hotels. So this is a promise. Her job is going to be to find me a northern-based hotel. Okay, and if she doesn't do it, I'll be very upset with her. So that is a promise. So I'm expecting, hopefully, the beginning of this year to be able to find a to be able to find a northern venue so that we can do some nice events up there, and probably the north of England rather than Scotland to start with, but we'll see. I'll get a looking in both, and also I want another south coast one. Okay, but we are going to work on that, so I promise, because I know I've been promising that a lot. And just so that you know, we're hoping to go to Ireland. That's going to be 2024. Okay, but that is definitely planned, really. That is going to be there, definitely. I say that, I'm relying on these girls, but they're pretty good. Okay, we will be there. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Let's go through that overall. Let's go through that again. So this is the blind auction. So 1 no trump, pass, Wales. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Two hearts, pass, 2 spades, pass, 3 diamonds. Okay. So let's take ourselves through the auction. It goes 1 no trump, 2 clubs, 2 hearts. That's normal. We know that West has 12 to 14 points and 4 hearts. East bids 2 spades. Okay. Okay, East bids 2 spades here. So what does that mean? Well, some people use the 2 spade bid in this auction, and it's completely natural. As partner, I've got 4 spades, and I was going to invite you to game. So rather than bidding 2 no trumps in this auction, which would also show 4 spades and invite you to game, they use the 2 spade bid, because you can't have a natural weak takeout in spades for this 2 spade bid, because otherwise you'd have just transferred. The only reason for bidding Stamen is that you want to find a 4-card fit. Well, partners bid 2 hearts here. So if you had 4 hearts and 5 spades, you'd have been happy in hearts. So East 2 spade bid generally shows 11 points and 4 spades. You're happy with that? Okay, so bearing that in mind, we now know East has got an invite to game. What do you think 3 diamonds can show? And I think Brian hit the nail on the head here. Eventually, I could only really think of one hand that West could have. So the question is, why can't East bid 2 spades? Well, the reason you would 2 no trumps, the reason is sometimes you might want to finish in 2 spades. So imagine you're inviting your partner to game with 4 spades, and it turns out your partner's got 4 spades, but doesn't want to go for game. It means you can finish in 2 spades rather than 3 spades. Because over 2 no trumps, your partner would have to bid 3 spades, wouldn't he? Because he'd know you had spades and you'd end up a level higher. So 2 spades actually gives you the opportunity to finish in 2 spades. It's just a lot of people don't use it because it's a little bit more intricate, as it were. But in theory, 2 spades is a clever bid. Okay, unless East always wants to be in 4 spades. We'll see that in a moment. What is 3 diamonds? I'll tell you what, let me open up the hands and see if you can see what I mean. Okay. So here are the hands. Do you agree with the bidding? Well, the first thing is, what would you open with the West hand? What would you open with the West hand? And of course, it's completely reasonable if you wish to open 1 diamond. However, you have to plan your rebid. And as long as you're happy with your rebid when you open 1 diamond, that is fine. But your rebid is going to have to be 2 diamonds. Now, don't worry about the partner's hand here, as you're going to see, but your rebid would have to be 2 diamonds here. And the key is, some of you who are used to my bidding quiz will have seen this hand. I usually do it with 5 clubs and 4 diamonds, as it happens. Okay, I'll often do it with 5 clubs and 4 diamonds, where you don't have a rebid and I don't feel that opening 1 diamond and rebidding 2 diamonds is a great description of the hand. On this hand, it may well work anyway, but quite often it'll go 1 diamond, 1 spade from your partner. You have to rebid 2 diamonds. You can't rebid 1 no trump. You've just got a good 13, maybe near 14, but you certainly haven't got 15. And you can't rebid 2 hearts because that is a reverse. Change the 2 suits around and make it 5 hearts and 4 diamonds. You're opening 1 heart because you can rebid 2 diamonds, nice and simple. So as long as you're planning your rebid, I think opening 1 no trump here is a very reasonable opening bid. Your partner bids 2 clubs. You bid 2 hearts. I've got 4 hearts. Partner bids 2 spades. Now, to be fair, with the hand on the east, I should maybe have changed it slightly, but I probably would have bid 2 no trumps anyway, because I think I would want to finish in 4 spades if we've got a spade fit on that hand. But essentially 2 spades, says partner, I've got about 11 points, and, you know, and I'm inviting you to game. I've got 4 spades, I haven't got a fit in hearts. When West decides to go for game, if you tell me my partner's got 11 points, I think West is good enough to go for game. Okay, I think, although he's got double doubletons, the ace-jack looks good because it's with partner's 4 spades anyway. Jack 10 of diamonds, all of the cards are working. I've given you the 9, 8, 7 of hearts. I think the hand's worth closer to 14 than 12, so I'm going to go for game. But rather than bidding 3 no trumps, I'm bidding 3 diamonds on the way. And I'm hoping partner can work out that I might be 5, 4, 2, 2. And obviously on this hand, if he does, we might bid to a bold 5 diamonds. Okay, but you know, I mean, so you might finish in 5 diamonds, but it's just someone sent me in an auction with the first 5 bids, and I hadn't come across them, and I'm thinking, is there a possible hand that could correspond? So a lot of people are not familiar with the 2 spade, but as I say, I'm not sure it's right on this particular hand, because I think if you've got a 4-4 fit in spades, I think you'd probably want to be in 4 spades. So I think 2 no trumps might be a better bid. But if you've got a more flattish hand with 4 spades, 2 spades is a clever bid. It says, partner, you know I haven't got a fit with hearts because I haven't agreed it. So I'm just saying, look, I've got 11 points. I'm happy for you to bid 2 no trumps if we haven't got a spade fit, or 3 no trumps. If we've got a spade fit, well, we could finish in 2 spades if you've got a pile of rubbish, partner. And it keeps you a bit lower, that's all. Okay, but don't worry about that. That was a blind hand. Just to entertain you. Okay, you're probably going to say just to entertain me, but there you go. Let's have a quick look at our bidding quiz here. There we go. Okay, I've given you, my goodness, I think there's 21 points there. Is it 21 points? Your partner opens 4 spades. It's love all. Love all is the vulnerability. Okay, so nobody's vulnerable. Your partner opens 4 spades. It goes pass, and it's your bid. Okay. 4 spades from your partner, pass, and it's your bid. Good luck with that one. Remember, you can get the answer on the website. Our prize winner this week is Patricia Berry. Patricia Berry, well done you. Well done indeed. Okay, so good luck with that quiz. Interesting one. It's one of those hands that you probably get a bit upset with. But anyway, we'll come to that. Okay, it's all well and good doing it at the speed of light, Andy, but you've got to count your points up and count them again because there's a lot there. Okay, I'm going to do the beginners now, if that's okay. We're going to carry on with our balanced hand bidding. So have a nice week. Don't forget, please, that if you're watching the teams, it's on Thursday this week, the teams, and we're protective bidding, okay, on the Friday. Okay, so Thursday night for the teams and Friday the protective. Enjoy the week and hopefully see you soon. Oops, pretend you're not seeing that. Okay, so understanding no trump bids, I said I'd do it one more time, then we will move on. So the reason I'm sticking with this so much is because it is so important. Okay, I'll just quickly, okay, a little request there. There we go. I have to move backwards though. Here we go. Okay. Oh, right, I'm back. There we go. Okay, understanding no trump bids. Okay, and we've been doing this now for 3 or 4 weeks, and the reason is I need you to have your no trump tables and understand them. And as a beginner, what I'd like you to do is actually have a record of them at your side, okay, particularly if you're playing online or something like that, and just get to know it. At some point you will want to test yourself, and that's of course understandable. Maybe have it turned upside down, then turn it back, you know, after you've made the bid, you know, and but you need, certainly early on, you need it there for your own good. Okay, so your no trump bids on the early rounds are showing almost always specific point counts. They are very different for the opener to responder, and so it's really important that we are happy with them. Here they are here, the opening side and the responder side. The opener, 12 to 14 for your opening bid, 15 to 17 for the rebid, 18 to 19 for that jump rebid or 2 no trump rebid. The opening bid of 2 no trumps, 20 to 22, and responder 6 to 9, 10 to 12, and 13 to 15. Okay. As I say, I've shown you that now 4, maybe 5 times, and you're getting bored. That is good. As long as you're bored and you have it inside your head, that's allowed. Okay, so when someone bids no trumps, you work out what it means and you add up the points. It's going to be your job to work out what level of contract you should be in. Okay, if your partner's bid no trumps, you've got to do that. So let's just look at 2 more examples, and then I think next week we will move on to something new. Okay. So you've got 5 points. Your partner opens 2 no trumps. And as so often here, as long as you can identify what the bid means, you'll make the correct response. 2 no trumps as an opening bid is 20 to 22. So of course, when you first pick up your hand with just 5 high card points, you're thinking, well, I'm not going to be doing anything on this hand. But of course, once your partner's shown 20 to 22, you add your 5 points to that, and you're actually quite excited. So of course, you bid 3 no trumps. Okay, you're balanced, your partner's balanced, go for it. Okay, there's your partner's hand. He's got a balanced hand. Notice that he hasn't got high cards in all the suits, but he doesn't need to have. That's not what his bid said. His bid said, I have 20 to 22 points and a balanced shaped hand. And he does. And in fact, the 2 hands make a very comfortable 9 tricks, don't they? You can see the ace, king, queen, jack of spades and the ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds. That's 8. And the ace of hearts. And with 4 clubs in your hand, they can't run away with it. So you'll make an easy 9 tricks. Who knows? If they keep leading clubs, you might make another trick too. Okay, so a nice and straightforward auction really, which with 5 points you weren't expecting. Okay, 1 more hand then. Here you go, you're the opening bidder. You open 1, oh sorry, got to count the points up first. 14 points. So we've got an opening hand. We're not balanced, so we open 1 of our longest suit. 5 diamonds there, so you open 1 diamond. Your partner responds 1 heart, and you show your second suit. Very neat. 1 spade. You don't bid a no trump, because that would show a few more points. So very nice. 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade. Your partner now bids 1 no trump. Okay, and absolutely like the first one. Or if you can identify what that 1 no trump bid means, you're going to finish in the right contract. Okay, what it means is he's not particularly interested in either of your suits. He will have something in clubs. Okay, because otherwise, you know, where are all his cards, as it were? So he'll have, I would imagine your partner has long hearts and long clubs. You've got long diamonds and long spades. So I think no trumps is correct. We've got to work out how many points he's got. Okay, so how many points has your partner got? He is the responder. He's the responder. So that shows 6 to 9 points. add your 14, there is no chance for game. So you pass. Okay, and there's your partner's hand there. Your partner's hand with 8 points. And you've got 2 balanced hands, got high cards all over the place, so I think you're in the right spot. And of course your plan would be to win whatever they lead at some point and play diamonds. You've got lovely diamonds there, haven't you? And on a good day you might make 4 tricks for them. So you might finish with 8 tricks. Okay, but 8 tricks of course is not a game. Okay, and you don't get anything extra, and important to remember this because some beginners don't quite understand this, but 1 no trump with an over trick, so 1 no trump plus 1 is worth the same as 2 no trumps. So you don't get a bonus for bidding 2 no trumps. So that, you know, that's no good. The bonuses are when you bid to make a contract worth 100 points or more. So 3 no trumps or 4 spades or 5 diamonds. You get a game bonus, but you get no bonus for bidding 2 no trumps here. So you're much happier playing in 1 no trump, and if you happen to make +1, that will please you. Okay, and you're in a safer contract. As you can see, in total you've got 22 points between you. You do, you know, and you want to play in no trumps. Notice you've got a diamond fit, which is interesting, but what we've discussed a number of times already is that when you have a fit in a minor, you tend to prefer to play in no trumps if you've got cards all over the place, because no trump scores so much more. So if you manage to make 1 no trump plus 1 here, you would score 120 points. If you make an extra check in diamonds, so maybe 3 diamonds, you make 9 tricks, you actually make fewer points, 110. Because you get 20 points for each one in diamonds, so 3 times 20 is 60, whereas, and you get an extra bonus of 50 if you make a part score. In no trumps you make 30 plus 30 plus an extra 10 for no trumps. So you get 30 each plus a bonus 10. So here you get 1 no trump plus 1 would be 2 times 30 plus 10 is 70 plus 50 is 120. You don't have to worry about that, but the point is no trumps is a lot more valuable. So that's why on this particular hand you'd finish in no trumps rather than perhaps playing in a minor suit. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on no trump bids. I hope it's worth it. I hope that you're going to get to the end of this year with a nice solid list of what is what in no trumps. And if you can carry it into the new year, hopefully you'll be well on your way to becoming a great bridge player. Okay, thanks for your time and see you again soon.